Greetings, salutations, and good now. I'm astrologer Kevis Major. Doing it major. And in this video, we're gonna talk all about Pisces. Now we're doing something a bit different. I'm recording this video and still doing a TikTok live. So shout out to all the people who are tuning in on the TikTok live. That is Kevis B Major on TikTok. Anyway, all about Pisces. We're gonna do an in-depth dive on the Pisces energy, and at the end of the video you should know all about Pisces, all the little minute details, so you could understand the Pisces effect, influence, and understand Pisces people in general. Now, the symbol of the Pisces is the two fish swimming in opposite directions. Pisces is a water sign. The modality is mutable, meaning that, Pisces are changeable, adaptable, flexible, versatile. The element again is water, water dealing with emotions, the internal realm, your mood, your subconscious, feminine energy, yin energy, dreams, memories, and anything to do with the water element. The ruling planets of Pluto, not Pluto, Pisces, sorry, is Neptune and Jupiter. And we're going to talk more about, Neptune and Jupiter and their influences. Pisces essentially represents the final stage of the zodiac, the 12th sign or the 12th house, and it embodies completion, it embodies surrender, and anything to do with, those moments of isolation or retreat. It also embodies spiritual transcendence, and I'm going to break it down for you. And it's quite interesting how, when you think about the 12th house is like the last house, the completion of the whole zodiac wheel. And so Pisces understands, I guess, the human experience and the spiritual experience. And so that's where you get the themes of, compassion, unconditional love, understanding, surrender, or being able to kind of like let go. It is the final zodiac sign. And so just before or just after Pisces is Aries, which is the spring. So that would make Pisces kind of like signifying death, or like the final countdown, the final, 30 days, And so again, all of that type of spiritual transcendent influence, as if we were taking our last few breaths, before rebirth, before springtime again. And so the Pisces energy kind of merges all the zodiacs, creating like this type of universal compassion again, or understanding of, the whole astrological experience, and just having a certain level of understanding and forgiveness and just love for an empathy or an empathetic outlook to life. So Pisces are, I guess, really empaths naturally, and also naturally spiritual, or naturally have a higher innate emotional IQ and emotional EQ, if that makes sense. The strengths of a Pisces are that they're deeply intuitive, and connected to higher consciousness, just because, again, they embody the totality of the zodiac. I mean, they have their specific traits and characteristics which we're pinpointing, but again, they just have this certain overstanding, understanding, innerstanding, and outerstanding of, the human experience. And so another one of their strengths is that they're highly compassionate. They could be selfless at times, and also quite nurturing, again, because they're a water sign. Richly imaginative and creative, all of that watery energy, mutable water to be exact, so changeable, adaptable with, how they flow, and quite versatile at that. Rihanna is a Pisces, by the way. and again, adaptive and flexible due to their mutable natures. Now, the challenges that Pisces would face is becoming over idealistic or tapping into escapism. We're gonna tap into the exact reasons why. I'm just giving you a list. All right, difficulty establishing certain boundaries, leading to emotional overwhelmness, and they're prone to confusion, being indecisive, or just avoiding reality. Now, again, the symbol of the Pisces is the fish swimming in opposite directions, and this kind of represents their dualistic nature, being, you know, in the material world or materialistic, and still being one of the most spiritual signs innately or natively, just because again of the 12th house experience or the 12th house influence. A big theme for the Pisces in their life is their intuition versus logic. Like Pisces, or the Pisces that I know, are very intuitive. Like they could just, it's almost like they could feel or see the end of a situation before it happens. And so they could make certain predictions or just, you know, kind of foresee and forecast what is to come. I don't know why, but they're just good like that. And then, escapism versus engagement, all of the more higher ordeals and spiritual natures of the Pisces, which we're going to get deeper into. It's that heavy Neptune influence. Let's just get to it. The heavy Neptune influence, that deals with idealism, best wishes. Jupiter again bringing in a lot of optimism and expansion. And so if they're not necessarily feeling or experiencing their best wishes or their ideals or expansion, they could kind of retreat into more passive mode where they could romanticize their reality. Venus is exalted in Pisces, again, leading to them being able to be comfortable and complacent, even in a not so good situation, because they are just quite optimistic and hopeful and have a lot of faith and just looking on the brighter side of life. The water element gives Pisces a lot of depth. Now think about, the water element, like the ocean, and the Pisces energy is just vast and mysterious and unfathomable. It's not like the Scorpios, which is quite intense, maybe more like very cold, maybe even icy water that you have to kind of like break the surface and get to the depths too. And it's all about power and control. Like Pisces is just like, we're out in the water, big waters, and we could just flow and be free to do whatever we want to do, not as intense as the Scorpios. And so, they're highly sensitive, just because they could flow in any direction emotionally, and they're sensitive to the different emotional shifts. And within others, especially, like they could pinpoint like the minute little body languages and how people would show their emotions without actually saying it. Like Pisces are really like connected and tapped in, and they have that ability to, I guess, just feel that, you know? And so they have a certain level of connection with others, and they act on this. They act on this, they feel for others. They are very loving, just because they have empathy and compassion and they feel for other people. And so rather than adding on, to other people's pain and worries and travails and tribulations, the Pisces is going to want to try to help and alleviate, or think that they can be the ones to help and alleviate people's pressures and hardships. Let's talk about the ruling planets, because this is kind of This is going to make it make more sense. But first, let's start with the 12th house, because the space is what was first. And the space kind of created all of the influence, right? And this is something interesting that I've been pondering. Now, again, the 12th house is the last house, the last zodiac space. So the 12th house speaks about ending, closure, the end of a karmic cycle, the end of the spiritual cycle, and the end, aka death, right? Being absent from, I guess, a physical vessel, and just the collective unconscious. All right. So if we're talking about, again, the ending, the closure, we're talking about death, karma, unconscious, you know, leaving the body. It taps us into, again, mysticism. It taps us into something that is kind of like beyond logic. We have to philosophize and mysticize the end, or what happens after the end. You know what I mean? So it kind of taps us into yin, internal, how we feel, internal movements, spirituality, maybe unseen things, things that are hidden, things that could be revealed in time. It also, again, taps us into death, or being close to death. So solitude, or moments of retreat, moments where we could deeply reflect, and just take ourselves back, hermit card from the physical world. And so the 12th house influence basically shaped, you know, the Pisces architect. All right. So we're going to run over all of those energies again. So we have the ending, we have closure, we have ending of like a karmic cycle, we have unconscious, we have death, we have, I guess, hidden truths, mysticism, unseen, solitude, introspection, retreating. That could even include, again, near death experiences, imprisonment, hospital, any type of mental institutions or something like that, like 12th house type of energy. All right. Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, Neptune being the planet of our illusions, higher ideals or ideals, dreams, imagination, spiritual awakening, or emotional maturity, and again, illusions or even delusions. Did I say fantasy? So just think about, we are living in a reality, and anytime you think about something that you don't currently have, that you wish you could have, that is kind of greater than the position that you're in, boom, that's Neptune energy. And boom, you could correlate that to Piscean energy. I've been pondering it deeply. And again, I think Pisces, the energy itself, kind of speaks towards like the higher self, like the greatest version or greater version of your current self. And so that Neptune energy, which is bringing in like mysticism and bringing in, dreams and imaginations, like you're trying to dream and imagine about things that are greater than your current state. You know what I mean? And so again, we see that, the Neptune influence of bringing in illusions, or like good illusions. We could talk about the negative side or the bad side, but for the most part, just bringing in positive dreams, positive imagination, and all of that, you know creative energy, creative juice, makes Pisces highly artistic. We're going to talk about, Pisces when it comes to communication. We're not speaking about Pisces as a person right now, just like the overall energy and archetype of the Pisces. But we're going to get into that. But, all of this Neptunian energy makes them highly creative. Also ruling Pisces is Jupiter, right? Jupiter, which is the largest planet, speaks towards abundance, speaks towards opportunity, speaks towards generosity, speaks towards mental or philosophical expansion, optimism, faith, hope. It also deals with the wisdom and knowledge that we have accumulated from our past experiences. And we learn the most through hardship or through hard lessons. And so, undoubtedly, Pisces energy is going to bring or going to, I don't know, influence experiences that causes growth, causes expansion, but also opportunities and what's an optimism? Yeah, but I wanted to use another word for like gifts. You know what I mean? Like gifts, because again, the wisdom is going to come in like a gift that you could use, that you could share, that you could give to others, that could, be something that is uplifting to self and to a multitude of people. These ruling planets, like, and the house really encapsulates, the Piscean energy. Let's peer over to what opposes the Pisces, or what is the opposite energy to the Pisces. So again, Pisces is mutable water. So opposing Pisces, we have Virgo. So Virgos are a perfect balance, for the Pisces. Virgo is a earth sign, mutable earth, being mutable, flexible, adaptable, versatile, being diverse when it comes to, security, stability, organization, anything to do with that earthy energy. And so Virgos balance out Pisces mystical and dreamy energy. Pisces could teach the Virgos how to, be a bit more spiritual, be a bit more emotional, be a bit more vulnerable, and just connect deeper with people, places, and things. And the Virgo could teach the Pisces how to organize and how to be grounded in reality and how to actually attain their dreams and illusions so they don't just live in a fantasy world. Yeah. So the key themes for the Pisces energy, again, because of the ruling planets and just the whole space that developed the Pisces constellation, or the Pisces stars, or the Pisces zodiac, is that Pisces are innately spiritual and deeply tapped into mysticism. Pisces is the most spiritual sign, again, just because of the 12th house experience. They kind of embody, the ending or the closing of the zodiac, the death phase. And so they could understand the human experience. And I don't know if they feel the pain, but they know what it is like to be down bad, and so they try to alleviate that pressure from people, making them highly empathetic. And I guess that's the spiritual thing that people always say, oh, spiritual, but it's just a high level of emotional intelligence that is kind of like subconscious, or just deeply rooted, deeply rooted, or deeply embedded, you know what I'm saying, into like a Pisces person. Yeah. Pisces, again, because of the 12th house space, Neptune and Jupiter influence, draws a lot of inspiration from, just the divine, and they foster a certain level of connection just with the human experience and the collective consciousness, making them, what I'm saying, just more, I don't want to say people's person, but they just love life and love. All right. Highly imaginative, highly creative, highly empathetic, a lot of compassion. And again, all of this makes them or they could sacrifice and they could serve others. Like all of the Pisces that I know in my personal sphere, personal life, like they really like help people and serve others in some way, shape, or form. And so, yeah, Pisces are known to be selfless, often sacrificing their personal needs, their personal health, their personal goals for the benefit of others, associated with like caretaking, charity, humanitarian efforts, even a lot of like domestic work like cleaning, catering, cooking. You know, a lot of the Pisces that I know in my life were into those type of jobs or activities. Again, I want to we're going to get to the dignities just to further explain or to see, how the different planets are really giving these influence to the Pisces archetype. But let's talk about the shadow side or the dark side to the Pisces. Now, escapism. Pisces are known to avoid reality or just avoid, you know, dealing with their own personal flaws. They are drawn to daydreaming, even substance use, fantasies, anything that kind of takes them away from being present and dealing with the here and now, especially if it's a situation that, is not the best situation. It's not like heavy Jupiterian of like expansion and lots of opportunities and, a lot of wisdom. They could get comfortable and complacent and romanticize a terrible situation, right? So that's something that is the downside to a Pisces. Along with that is that Pisces could have a certain victim mentality. They could feel overwhelmed by, I guess, the harshness of life, the human experience, the reality. And so this could lead the Pisces to feel helpless. Again, Pisces being this big, vast ocean, and there's endless opportunities and possibilities that could be overwhelming to a person. So Pisces have difficulties setting certain boundaries as well. They're all they're all let me just make sure the mic is not messed up. They're all water. Yeah, mutable water, so movable, adaptable, versatile, diverse, being able to, you know, have a whole array of emotional complexities and stuff like this. Like, again, it could just be a bit too much. Pisces could be vulnerable, leaving themselves exposed to get taken advantage of. Again, they're highly empathetic, compassionate, have a lot of love for everybody just because they understand or they innately comprehend the chaos of the reality that we live in. Pisces, again, could be prone to confusion and illusions. They tend to struggle to differentiate the difference between reality and fantasy, what's attainable, what's not attainable. The influence of Neptune, the illusions or the elusive nature of Neptune, could make them deceptive to, I guess, being delusional. The dignities also signify this, right? Sorry, but Mercury being in Pisces right now is kind of like slowing me down. But nevertheless, Neptune is at home in Pisces, heightening all of that dreamy like energy, amplifies again the spiritual natures, creativity, access to, just higher inspiration. I guess if you're a person who could daydream, and again, when you're daydreaming, you're seeing things that are not in this reality, things that are not currently possible, or you guys know what dreams are, right? Come on. Like, dreams are dreams, all right? And so just because a Pisces could tap into like that type of dream-like state, I guess in science that would be like realm and beta waves and theta states, and just imagine all of that is happening in your brain while you're consciously awake. You know what I mean? And so higher planes of consciousness seem to be accessible, or more accessible, to the Pisces. Again, you know, Neptune being here, shadow tendencies to escape reality and just want to be in like the fantasy world and not really put in the work to bring, the fantasy into reality. Jupiter is also home here, promoting a lot of optimism, faith, and expansion. But again, the expansion kind of amplifies the Piscean energy, or the 12th house energy, and so making them, you know, quite generous, and also having not a visionary outlook, because the visionary would be the Aquarius, but they have, um the word is not coming to my mind. It's not visionary. It's, I don't want to say psychic, but Aquarius has the visions. They have the illusion. They have the fantasy side of, you know, their perspective or their outlook to life. And again, this could be a bit blurry because visions are based on reality, but illusions are based on, the optimism of Jupiter. And so Pisces energy, again, lacks the natural qualities of like manifesting the dream that they could vividly paint. You know what I'm saying? And talking about painting, like, again, that's something that Pisces tend to be, or have an inclination at, like artistic expression. Venus is exalted in Pisces. Again, this is what makes them, I guess, highly compassionate and all of that unconditional love, is that Venus loves to be here, with all of this water, and being flexible with the emotions and be able to pander to each and every one of y'all and love unconditionally, or love multiple people. I don't want to say Pisces are cheaters, but look out for the Pisces in relationships, because, what I'm saying, maybe just a bit friendly or approachable, or maybe not even that, but again, they could just showcase, or they could give a lot of love just because Venus is exalted here. Venus being exalted in Pisces, again, is what makes them romantics, or give them that romantic idea or ideals, or just make them romanticize their reality, right? We spoke about that earlier. Again, over romanticizing could be unhealthy. Like, yes, a certain level of delusion is good, but Pisces could overdo it, or the Pisces energy could overdo it. Again, Venus being exalted here, Venus speaks towards love, but also compromise and sacrifice, and bending over backwards to please someone else, or to help someone else. And so Pisces again could over exert themselves trying to help another person, or just trying to serve people, putting themselves on the back burner. So that's something that Pisces needs to look out for. Mercury is in detriment, or Mercury is aware while being in Pisces, and so Mercury has to work a lot harder. Mercury being, just our mental agility, our mental faculties, our mental processes, how we communicate, how we think, how we share information, even how we socialize and communicate. Now, Pisces are great at socializing because of their you know, intuitive nature. They could read the room, they could be quite empathetic or sensitive to other people's emotions. However, being able to communicate or logically reason is something that a Pisces kind of struggles with. Yeah, no, they could understand the complexities of any subject matter deeply, but to logically explain it using words, they may struggle. However, they excel in creative communication. And so, whether it is storytelling or poetry, drawing, or, artistic expression, maybe dancing or their body movement, a Pisces would communicate better, if they have that arsenal, different forms of communication or creative expressions or outlets. Yeah. Pisces could be a bit scatterbrained again, just because Mercury has to work a lot harder here. So they could be scattered, having scattered thoughts, difficulty with clarity. Jupiter is, at home here, bringing in a lot of expansion. And so always expanding, the thoughts, scattering the thoughts, making it difficult to focus and hone in when it comes to, the thoughts, their ideas, and being fixated on them. They could struggle in that aspect. All right, so let's talk about the Pisces archetype in action. When it comes to love, Pisces in love, highly romantic, dreamy, idealistic in relationships. However, I find that, even though they have unconditional love, because they may struggle with communication, like, of course they love their partner, but they may not always know how to speak to their partner or communicate in the best way. Pisces crave deep emotional bonds, deep spiritual bonds. They have a lot of love to give, but they also want to receive a lot of love. Again, Venus being exalted here, they're going to, want to sacrifice and support their person, and they would compromise themselves, their health for their person. Pisces in careers, when it comes to Pisces in their careers, Pisces really thrive on, I guess, creativity, creative industries, creative expression. They also strive when it comes to, I guess, I don't, medicine, but specifically healing. Yeah. So, because they like to serve people and they have this type of compassion, empathy, unconditional love, so they could do good, like as a nurse, working in care industry, just like service to others, any type of spiritual profession as well. So, spa, masseuse, beautician, masseuse again, chiropractor, like any type of profession where you kind of like take care of people. Also, because mutable water, if you're into animals, maybe more aquatic, marine life and stuff like this. So, artists, musicians, writers, counselors, health, people in health, beauty, marine life, maybe even fishing. Pisces are going to struggle with anything that is, over rigid or too practical. You know what I mean? They like to work with the internal, so even maybe like psychologists. You know what I'm saying? Even though a psychologist would be more in like the mental part, again, Pisces, like 12th house energy, healing, restoration, kind of like nurturing as well. Pisces, when it comes to health, Pisces is linked with the feet, all right, the feet and the immune system. So that's something that we need to take into consideration. And it's funny that Pisces deals with the feet, but Pisces could lack grounding. Yeah. So you see how the thing that they signify is the thing that they kind of need the most. So if I was an astrological doctor, I would prescribe a lot of grounding exercises for, Pisces, even though that's something that they may not, like to do. So Pisces needs to balance their emotional health and avoid, any psychosomatic illnesses. They need to they need to regiment or have a routine for grounding practices like yoga, tai chi, walking barefoot, just anything that, gets them grounded, get their body moving physically, and that makes them feel human and bring them down and connect them like to the earth and to reality. All right, so let's talk about Pisces as an influence in astrology. Yeah, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So, Pisces, you know, moon, if someone is the Pisces moon, high degrees of intuition. Again, the moon symbolizes mood, internal, feminine, yin energy, what makes us comfortable internally. And so the Pisces moon is highly intuitive and emotionally sensitive. The Pisces moon likes to nurture through compassion, through love, and through like a spiritual connection. Pisces rising, right, which would be the Pisces ascendant or Pisces first house, makes the person like mystical, dreamy. They have a certain aura that draws people to them. They could be perceived as, gentle, be perceived as wise, be perceived as angelic in a sense, and they could even embody that with their appearance and presentation, in terms of how they speak, the colors that they wear, even their facial makeup. Pisces sun, again, a lot of creativity, service to others, a lot of love, a lot of compassion, but also that type of free spirited nature, you know what I mean? And just having a high level of emotional intelligence. Pisces, when it comes to the retrogrades, Neptune retrograde strips away the illusions and brings the clarity. So anytime you have a retrograde, is like the energies or influences more internal, and so you get to reassess and refocus and realign. And so, you know there's a certain level of clarity that a Pisces retrograde would have. It's sort of ironic that the direct motion could be, elusive and blur and confused, but the retrograde, kind of helps them to like hone in. I guess like you slow down, the retrograde is like you slow down and stop and kind of go back. And so the retrogrades are positive motions for the Pisces. Again, Pisces in the chart, if you have Pisces in your chart or in a chart astrologically now, is going to signal creativity, signal spirituality or emotional maturity, intelligence, sensitivity, and intuitiveness. And the 12th house placement again makes Pisces introspective, taps them into the subconscious, the upconscious, and they understand karma or what it means to be human and the human cycle innately. Something deep down inside of them just kind of knows this. Yeah. All right. So that was in my opinion, comprehensive breakdown of the Pisces energy. I have a note of some famous people. We have Albert Einstein being a famous Pisces, for being a genius with boundless imagination. We have Rihanna being artistic, being creative and quite versatile. We have Kurt Cobain being dreamy yet emotionally intense and channeling all of that intensity through the music. Some practical tips for the Pisces, or while we are under heavy Pisces influence, we want to do grounding. Yeah, a lot of grounding. So anything that makes us feel like a human or feel like an animal or feel like we're connected to this planet that we're on. All right, and bring us closer to, a certain equilibrium. So spending time in nature, just anchoring down the emotion and, keeping our energies grounded in reality is highly prescribed for the Pisces. Engaging in any sort of creative activity is encouraged under the Pisces influence, and setting boundaries is another thing that is necessary for Pisces or under heavy Pisces influence. So, the Virgo energy or even any other earthy energy, whether it is Taurus or what's the other earth sign, Capricorn type of energy. All right. So I hope you guys understand the Pisces archetype, Pisces, all about Pisces, from the top all the way to the bottom. Yeah, so anytime, you hear about Pisces, you should get a good, yeah. All right, major farewell until we meet or greet again. I feel like the Mercury in Pisces is already tripping me up. I don't even know what to say. I think I've already said everything. When you don't know what else to say, yeah, I guess I'll just roll up another one. Anyway, major farewell until we meet or greet again. I'm astrologer Kevis Major, doing it major.